Today I fucked up masturbating too much because of a new relationship. Alright, so this actually happened today and is an ongoing issue. Yay life. I got out of a 6-year relationship 7 months ago and just decided to start dating again. I met my now girlfriend and the chemistry we have is incredible. But guess what? Alone time I'm like always turned on now. So I'm at the store the other day and wanted to buy some lotion like the degenerate I am to fap with. Or shea butter to be precise. Over the next several days I'm beating this thing like it owes me money. Fast forward to today, I have a date tomorrow and my dick looks like it's scaling up like a fish. It's honestly disgusting and looks like a science experiment. I've inadvertently been masturbating with body wash that I thought was lotion for the better part of a week and now I have to explain this to a partner of less than a month tomorrow. Too long didn't read. Don't beat off with body wash. It causes dry, calloused skin. Edit. Okay, don't beat a guy when he's down, no pun intended. I'll invest in lube. Edit. I feel like I shouldn't need to say this but can people please stop messaging me for dick pics? Edit. Yes, I'll take things I really regret sharing with the world for $500. Alex. Lady here. Just tell her you had a reaction to a lotion or body wash. You don't have to tell her about masturbating. Sometimes, people can be weird about it, and honestly that's just your business. As a woman, I have to tell you that I've had reactions to shaving my vagina with a new shaving cream, using different lotions, or getting a yeast infection from a bubble bath. Is that a TMI? I feel like I'm in the right place. Ah well. My point is, this shit happens, and it's okay to just tell the person you're with, hey, I can't have sex tonight. I had an allergic reaction to XYZ, but I can most definitely still give you some pleasure. Simple, easy, and you can still satisfy her in other ways. Most women know this struggle, just be upfront. Edit, grammar. Edit 2, oh my gosh, my most upvoted comment. Thank you for the awards. Ladies and gents, we know this struggle and we shan't shame others who experience it. We support the sensitive skin. Hurrah! It's cool, just tell her it's an STI. Tell her you had a bad reaction to a new body wash, only on your dick. Here's a topic of conversation that might help on the date to size up her interest. How do you feel about the sexual relationship between the fish monster and the woman in the shape of water? Well, what do you think he was masturbating to? You legitimately can fix this pretty quickly by jerking off with actual moisturizing lotion. Happened to my dick once, but you just gotta give the skin some hydration. Not fucking with you. Promise. Edit. Knew that someone would be fucked up enough to give this a wholesome award. Thanks for not letting me down, Reddit. Challenge accepted. Today I fucked up by making my date believe I lead him to a field full of unburied corpses and acting cool about it. It happened a few months ago, but I laugh every time I remember it. I should make a disclaimer and say English is not my first language. I was on a second date with a guy I found to be very smart and handsome. We are both students in the same university. I live on campus, which is enormous, and he doesn't, so we decided to go for a walk around it with me as a tour guide. One of the societies I was interested in joining was the Environmental Sustainability Society. One of their activities is to plant fruits and vegetables in a field on campus. So back to the date, we were walking around, and I took him to this field, excited to show him one of my interests. We didn't take the main entrance because it was a bit far from where we were at the moment. Instead, we took a small path between some bushes, which added creepiness to the situation, I think. So, in the society, they cover the plants with white fleece to keep them warm. It looks like with fabric covering something long. We got to the deserted place, it was nighttime, and I say, so, here are the corpses. With a smile on my face. His face expression immediately changed to sheer horror, but that didn't light a bulb in my head. I just kept looking at him dead in the eye, nodding, smiling and saying, yeah. Corpses? He asked in a worried tone. I said, yes. They plant them here, they are below the white fabric. And that's when it hit me. I was confusing corpses with crops. After noticing my mistake, I proceed to laugh very loudly. Again, it looked somewhat creepy because he was dead serious, and corrected my mistake. We both laughed and made out in between the corpses, the crops. Happy ending. TLDR took my date to a crops field at night. Confused the word crops with corpses. Scared my date, making him believe I took him to a field full of corpses covered with white fabric and acting excited about it. To add to the confusion, a copse is a group of trees, so I thought you meant copses haha as in a group of tiny new trees. Edit, words. The cycle of confusion is endless with this story. That's an excellent mistake, omg. His face will live forever in my memories, that poor man. And then I murdered him and buried his crop in the field. I loved hearing this story because you made me feel better about when I accidentally presented to the class about how I wanted to travel to China to see the murders. I meant go to the Olympics to see the sharpshooting/archery, but I mistranslated shooting to killing, murdering. The teacher and smarter students in the class were horrified as I cheerfully and confidently insisted on being a tourist for the murders for a 15-minute presentation. Maybe in an alternate universe I was watching your corpses become corpses. Today I fucked up by accidentally having a job interview in a strip club. This happened 10 years ago and I still can't believe how clueless I was that day. I was 18 years old at the time and had just started to go out at night for drinks and nightclubs, but I lived a bit far away from the city center, so I was constantly looking for places close to my home to hang out with friends who also lived nearby. I was coming back home from school on a random weekday and noticed a big gray building with black windows. The double doors were wide open, revealing some tables, a dance floor, a bar, and people working on a renovation inside, and there was a very tall and very blonde woman in the front speaking on the phone. I was happy to find a nightclub close to my home to hang out, so I stood there briefly looking for a name or something so I could check it further online when the tall blonde woman came to me and asked if she could help me with anything. She had the whole pimp vibe, but again, I was 18, stupid and clueless, and I wanted to sound cool, so I told her that I lived nearby, was thinking about hanging out there sometime, and asked for more information about the place. She looked at me from head to toe 3 times before asking, "How old are you?" To which I proudly responded that I was 18 and 5 months. Such a grown-up, right? And she invited me inside to get to know the place and her business partner. I thought I was going to get free drinks or something and decided to go with the flow. This is where I should have guessed what was really happening, because as I got inside I could see some posters of half-naked people and a stage with poles. Well, I didn't guess anything and kept walking to a small door behind the stage. I got inside an office where there was a man sitting behind a desk, and the woman told him about this lovely young girl who wanted to know more about the club and asked him to give me information. I politely thanked her as she left, and there I was, alone with this guy in a small office at the back of a strip club, realizing that the situation was weird but still clueless and trying to be cool, so I asked if he could just give me a flyer or something and I'd be on my way. Well, he wanted to get to know me first, so he asked me to sit down as he asked questions like what I did for a living, where I lived, if I liked to dance, if I had finished my studies, where I had worked before, if I did drugs and other super personal stuff. I was confused, but only when he asked to see my ID I realized that I was in a job interview. I was paralyzed and had no idea what to do, so I just gave him my ID, and after a good look he told me the club was closed for a renovation, but there would be a big reopening in a month, so they were looking for dancers and maybe more depending on my performance, so if I could just leave my contact information they would give me a call. I wrote down my real name and number on a piece of paper, yes, I'm that stupid, and got out of there actually thanking him for his time and feeling like the dumbest person on earth. The woman at the door asked how it was, to which I replied it was great, see you later, and left feeling even dumber. They called me a couple of weeks later and I just said I was not interested anymore, and that was the end of it. Too long didn't read. I asked for information about what I thought was a normal nightclub, but it was actually a strip club, and I ended up having an interview there to be a dancer, and maybe more depending on my performance. Edit. Wow, this got a lot of attention. Thanks everyone for the shiny awards. Smile. To add a quick note, I have absolutely nothing against strippers, it's legit work. just not for me. The today I fucked up is about me being clueless, which is something I've been working on over the past decade and hopefully got a lot better at it. And one more thing, I'm not from the US, so where I grew up you can drink from 18 years old. The 5 months are not mandatory, and also, especially for young women, please use this story to remind yourself that you should not just say yes to everything because it can get you in tough spots. Stay safe. I accidentally interviewed for a position as an escort when I was 18 or 19. The local head shop was always hiring, and I thought I'd be a great candidate, so I applied. First few minutes seemed like a normal enough interview, but then he asked to see my boobs. I laughed and was like, okay, but do I get a special hiring bonus? I just wanna sell bongs and novelty items. He laughed too and said, oh honey, that's not what we're hiring for. Apparently this happened a lot because they couldn't specify what position they were hiring for until you showed up. They couldn't specify what position they were hiring for until you showed up. I'm sorry, I can't reveal information about this position's secret, illegal job description. Oh crap, I shouldn't have said it was secret. Oh crap. I certainly shouldn't have said, it was illegal ! Don't feel too bad. I interviewed for a receptionist job at what turned out to be a brothel. Thought this would end on the casting couch. Oh, glad to see the interview didn't go that far. And at least you got a call back / offer. Yes, I was incredibly lucky that nobody wanted to test my skills or anything. Maybe they were too busy, maybe I looked too nervous, but I'm sure I would not have gotten a second interview if they'd asked me to actually show my dance moves lol. 18 and 5 months Lamau. Can't have them thinking you're new to this 18 years / show thing. 5 months seniority on all those new 18-year-olds, she's going to be head stripper for sure. Also reminds me of the time when I was working in a church and we had youth being mentored by seniors. One sweet woman began to mentor a youth and offered to take her out for lunch, all fair and good. But she ended up taking her to a strip club that functions more as a pub until later in the day, so minors are allowed in until a certain time. She had apparently heard all about this place from people who lived in her apartment building, which was across the road, and she always saw cars there, so figured it was good. She met with me later to give an update on her mentoring, told me where she took the girl, and thought it would be a great place to continue meeting, as it must be owned by former firefighters as there were fire poles all over the place, which would be nice for the girl as her dad was a firefighter. Wholesome.